You've started milling your wheat to make that wonderful, delicious homemade bread. So you mill your wheat and then you bake that bread and you take your first bite only to get a little bit of grittiness in your bread. And you're wondering what in the world happened and what is causing that. Well, in this video, we're going to be discussing this question. Hey everyone, welcome back to Grains and Grit. My name is Felicia. On this channel, we talk all things real whole grains from a biblical perspective. So if you've been following for a while, you may see we're in a different location. I am actually in my milling station room / laundry room / pantry / now teeny tiny little film studio. So that's where we are right now. And I'm actually here with my grain mills. This is where I have them set up. And so I've actually received this question, not as common as you would think, but I definitely do get this question at least once or twice a month, especially as of late. And that is grittiness in the bread that you have baked from freshly milled grains and what is possibly causing this. I have people email me or message me on Instagram about this. And so I'm just going to be sharing with you guys in this video what I have told them. Now we'll go ahead and say that I have personally never had this problem, no matter which grain mill I am using. So I cannot speak from experience of having this problem, but I can tell you that only one person has gotten back with me with the advice that I gave them and said that what I said did work. So do not despair and do not give up. Apparently there is hope. Now first, let me talk to you about my theories of what might be causing this and then tell you possibly how to fix them. First of all, as you can see, and you probably know, I do have 3 grain mills. The Wonder Junior Deluxe, which is a manual mill, my Nutrimill Harvest, which is a stone grind mill, and then Miss Wonder Mill back here, which is an impact mill. These 3 I have for different reasons, and they do different things. Okay, so here are my theories of what's causing the grittiness. First of all, usually I ask people what grain mill they're using, and I find that it usually is a stone grind mill. I've not heard of this problem with an impact mill or even the manual mills, probably because the manual mills, most people are not using those. They're using some sort of electric grain mill. And so here are my theories of what's causing it. One, it could be, my first thought is that maybe you're possibly not grinding the grains fine enough. Number 2 is maybe you have coarser grains that you've milled before, and those coarser grains might be coming out of the mill because they weren't cleaned out all the way now that you're doing finer flour. A third theory is possibly if you're using a coarser salt, that maybe that salt is not absorbing all the way, but I doubt that it's the salt. But that is a possibility, especially if you're using a coarser salt. You may want to make sure that it is dissolved all the way. So those are my theories. Before we get into my recommendations for fixing this problem, do you want to let you guys know that this video is sponsored by Pleasant Hill Grain. I love those guys. And if you're looking for grain mills, your mixers, your grains, anything you need for baking, they are a wonderful one-stop shop. And you're not giving your money to these large companies. They are smaller, family-owned business, and they sell all of these grain mills and more, as well as having a wonderful comparison chart with their grain mills. So be sure to shop with Pleasant Hill Grain. Just go to grainsandgrit.com/PHG. You know I love them. Definitely want to shop with them. Here's what I've told people about how to fix this problem. Number 1 is be sure to check your manual, because I know with the Nutrimill Harvest, and probably other stone mills, when you first receive your stone grind mill, you are supposed to mill like 1 cup of white rice through it on a fine setting first. This cleans out any sort of residue that might be on the stones, anything that might have gotten in there with the shipping and the packaging, anything that's in there that shouldn't be in there. It helps clean it out. So if you have not done that yet, and especially if you received a new grain mill and it immediately started giving you those problems, definitely want to mill 1 cup of white rice on a fine setting. And overall, that's what I would suggest to do first, even if you've had the grain mill for a while and it's still giving you fits. Now, this is something you only do with stone grind mills, not necessarily for your impact mills. Check your manual with that, with your impact mills. Not sure if that's something that you can do. But again, I've only heard this problem with your stone grind mills. The second thing that I've recommended is if you've already done the white rice, you're still experiencing it, is you may need to clean out your stones. And again, check your manual for how to do this. But here in the Nutrimel Harvest, I can just take the top stone out, and then you just use a little brush. Mine came with one, or a painter's brush, to clean off the stones, because I think sometimes what happens is if you're switching back and forth between coarse grains and fine grains, coarse milling and fine milling, sometimes those coarser grains can get stuck in the stones here. I especially notice this with corn when I'm milling corn, is they can get kind of stuck in between the stones. And then the next time that you mill, especially if it's on a finer setting and you're putting those stones together, those coarser grains may actually come out. So you may actually be receiving that grittiness from coarse grains from a previous milling that you just happen to miss. You may also want to clean out the chute as well to make sure no coarse grains got stuck in there. But that's the next thing, is I would remove the stones, what you can remove, brush that off with a brush, and then put the stones back. And then I would, just to be on the safe side, mill 1 cup of white rice on a fine setting to really get any grittiness, any gunk out of there, to kind of clean out the grain mill. And of course, discard that white rice. I do not recommend doing anything with it. So that's what I recommended to people. A lot of them, again, I've only had one person actually respond back to me saying that it fixed the grittiness. And so I would start with just milling the white rice first, and I do think that will most likely clear up the problem. But feel free to clean off your stones just in case, and then mill that white rice through. Again, you only need 1 cup of regular white rice. Just mill it on a fine setting, and for some reason, white rice helps clean out a stone grind mill. Hopefully this is helpful to y'all, help answering a question that I received. So if you're looking for grain mills, be sure to check out Pleasant Hill Grain, grainsandgrit.com/PHG, and I'll link everything in the description box below, including these 3 grain mills if you're interested. And as always, I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye!